Lanzamiento, aquí viene un batazo de Mundito entre right center field, la bola pica, se extiende, viene anotando Stott, empata el juego, también manda para la bola Turner anota y los Phillies se van arriba. Se prepara, Mundito en segunda, el lanzamiento, batazo profundo para el center field, la bola se va, Schwarber Bob, ¡campanazo! Aquí viene el lanzamiento, swing y lo ponchó. Ponche de Alvarado, amigos. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Phillies Weekly. A very interesting week. Our worst week of the season, Jeff. How are you, man? How's it going?
Lackluster week, to say the least, Oscar. It was not fun to watch this team at all week.
It was not fun to watch. Our hitting was not there at all. Wheeler went out waiting for a baby on maternity leave. We lose Harper. Luzardo continues to struggle for the second time. Look, we got a packed show. We are ready for this one. Hey, and by the way, we're going to be talking today about the ideal Phillies lineup. Let's see how we all think about that one. That's going to be an interesting discussion. As always, we have two. I mean, look, this is a privilege, Jeff. This is a privilege. I mean, you and I get to spend time with some quality reporters, but we have today two of the best ones. The young ones, the ones that are up and coming. Look, the one and only Lochlahn and Destiny. Look at that. Phillies Nation and the Philly Inquirer are on the house. Look at that. How are you? How you both doing?
Doing good, Oscar. That's the first time I've seen the intro to this new show, and I'm kind of fired up.
Are you pumped now?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I feel a lot better after seeing that.
Hey, the good thing, you know what? Believe it or not, I'll start with this positive news, and we'll look at the numbers. The Phillies have the 6th most wins in baseball. So let's just, for a second, let's just time out. This was not a pretty week. Not all the weeks are going to be pretty. Now, I'm going to talk to both of you because I think both of you were in Toronto. What did you guys do to this team in Toronto?
Oh, I didn't do anything, unfortunately. Maybe I should have done something. I don't know.
Destiny, I have to ask you. So when was it Wednesday's game or Thursday's game? Was that the game you weren't there?
Thursday's game. I flew out Thursday, so I missed the Jesus Luzardo start. I was in the airport, delayed 2.5 hours for a 1-hour flight. That's what I was doing.
It sounds common these days. Like I remember I was coming home from Disney in March. It was the same thing, except it was a whole day for a 2-hour flight. It was not fun.
But let's start, Jeff. This is a very special show because we have truly, I mean, I am truly blessed. When they're asking questions, you got to listen. I mean, because they are truly, truly outstanding. I mean, the work, Lochlahn, you do for the Philadelphia Inquirer, the work you do, Destiny, for Phillies Nation. I mean, you're two of the best reporters we have in Phillies Nation. I mean, the whole Phillies Nation world. Talk to us. How do you get Lochlahn? By the way, you have to follow Lochlahn and Destiny, but Lochlahn has some pictures. I started looking for her profile pictures, and then there's this picture that comes out of there. I said, "What's going on here?" Lochlahn, talk to us. Talk to us a little bit about your background, how you became kind of a Phillies reporter for the Philadelphia Inquirer. Just give us a little bit of background.
So I think I know the photo you're talking about. I posted it when I made the announcement that I joined the beat this winter. I guess I don't even know when that was. It seems like so long ago. But so I grew up playing baseball. I was the only girl on my baseball team. I'm originally from Toronto, so I grew up in Canada, playing hockey and baseball as the only girl, and just loved baseball my whole life. Never wanted to play softball. But then there's not obviously opportunities for women to play baseball in college. So that's how I started writing. When I went to college, I went to Penn, and that's how I ended up in Philly. And it kind of just went on from there. I sort of fell into it, realized how much I liked just being around the game and writing about it and talking to players and stuff like that. And started an internship with the Inquirer while I was still in college. And then that turned into a full-time job, which turned into the job that I have now. So yeah, it's been kind of a whirlwind. But
A whirlwind, and look, you're in the middle of the whole Phillies dynamic. I mean, I'm going to show you a slide that you guys are going to be like, oh my God, the previous 14 games and then the last 10 games. It's just like two different teams, two different worlds. Who can understand all this? But we'll talk more about that in a minute. Look, awesome story. We love you're with us with the Phillies and having fun there, Lochlahn, and bringing all those fantastic stories. Destiny, talk to us. This is your season. What?
This is my 6th year covering the Phillies in person, which doesn't seem real at all. I've been here since as long as Alec Bohm has been here.
You started the COVID
So I'm not the
year,
future
too.
anymore. Yeah. I'm not the future anymore. I'm a washed up old person.
Hey, come on.
I'm washed up, Destiny. If you're washed up, I don't even want to know what I am yet.
Look, I love the questions what Destiny brings. Every question she brings in those press conferences, you got to listen because she doesn't hold back. I mean, she brings it the way she sees it, and I love the way you do reporting, Destiny. So thank you for
You're
joining
too kind,
us.
Oscar. I appreciate
Come
you.
on, kind me.
You
who?
do a
No
great
way.
job too. I mean,
No way.
I don't understand what you're saying in the calls, but I really enjoy listening to them.
At least I'll make her listen to it here. How about that? But you know Campanazo by now, right?
Yeah, I know that. I know
It's slamming the bell. So look,
And you haven't been saying that a lot recently, unfortunately.
yeah,
That.
unfortunately, I think we had like 4 home runs, something like that, 4 or 5 home runs this week. I mean, it was not very pretty. So outside of that first Toronto game where we hit 3, I think we hit 1 more the rest of the way. I mean, that was not. So let's start let me give you some numbers and then we'll go into kind of how you saw the week and all the dynamics. So just give me one quick second here. So here is kind of how the week went. So basically we went 1-5. And as I mentioned last week, and we showed this slide last week, when this team does not score 4 runs, they lose the week. So week 3, when we play at Atlanta and St. Louis, we score only 2.5 runs. When we played at the Mets and Chicago, we scored only 3.5 runs. Then last week we only scored 3.5 runs and we lost the week 2-4. And this week we went 1-5, the worst week of the year, scoring only 2.6 runs. Look, our pitching wasn't that bad. I mean, we allowed less than 4 runs a game. But the bottom line, if we don't hit, we don't win. I mean, that's as simple as it goes. Look, we could put the dynamics of Harper. I mean, Harper probably should have gone on the DL when he got hit. I mean, he was dealing with this issue apparently. Kind of what do you know so far about this whole issue with Harper and the risk?
So from what I've heard about it, he only started talking about it in Pittsburgh, which neither Dusty nor I were there. But apparently it's the similar thing to what he'd been dealing with last year. It's the irritation in the wrist. It's not caused by the getting hit by the fastball that was on the elbow, but I think he said that it surely did not help. But yeah, this is like a longer term problem that he is just now coming forward about, that he said has affected him like pretty much, I think, a long time, not since the beginning of the season, but quite a while. And I mean, I think he went like 0-8 in the second 2 games, and then he took us in Toronto, and then he was out for the first game in Pittsburgh, and then obviously hit the IL. So yeah, he clearly wasn't swinging the bat well after that first at bat where he hit the homer right when he came back.
Absolutely.
And from what I read from the reporting that was coming out of Pittsburgh was that at the end of the year, like Bryce pretty much rested the wrist, and then he stopped feeling pain about 2 months after. So it'll be interesting to see really how long he's going to be out. Like, I think the team is being purposefully vague about that, but there is the idea that he's going to get treatment every single day and that it hopefully won't take 2 weeks, but it's definitely not going to be a 10-day IL sit. I think this is something that he's going to have to kind of get out for now and then hope that it doesn't come up again this season. I think it's tough because Bryce is a guy that would typically play through injuries like this, but even when he says like I can't play through this anymore, then it's really serious. So this is something that we'll definitely get into. I mean, how the Phillies played this week was really concerning, but I think the biggest concern is what Bryce is going through.
Yeah, it's a very concerning injury in many fronts. I've had that injury before, and it can take weeks. I mean, before you fully heal it. I mean, he probably won't be able to fully heal it this year. I mean, throughout the year, he's gonna have to manage it, and at some point, it's just look. Imagine how many swings. I mean, he does with the bat, and it's a very, very complicated injury because it's that there's bones, muscles. I mean, in that whole area, and you're making so much force that is a very concerning injury. Let's just put it that way. But if it had to happen at a point in time, it's better to happen now than later on. So hopefully he can take 2-3 weeks and be able to hit back again.
Oscar, if I could add on, it reminds me a little bit of last year with JT Realmuto and his knee. It kind of got to a point where he couldn't play through it. Like, I don't know if Bryce needs surgery. I think from what I've been reading that it's more about inflammation, but with JT, like he got it done in the middle of the year and then he was better once he got back. So that's probably the best case scenario for the Phillies, that they address this and then hopefully it doesn't become a factor in the postseason or near the end of the year.
That's my biggest concern with it, is that it's obviously recurred from last year. So if they weren't able to knock it out over the offseason when he obviously wasn't playing, like, is this something that he's going to have to manage going forward indefinitely? That's my bigger worry with this problem.
Yeah, I mean, the risk is a very sensitive area with a lot of things happen, and look, it's concerning. Hopefully he can make it back quickly and we can get on our winning ways. In the meantime, this team is going to have to produce without him. So, and that's kind of the biggest challenges. I mean, this team is 1-7. Let me go to the next slide and then I'll come back a little bit. This is what I was talking to you guys before. Look, we won the 14 games before this 10 game stretch where we've lost 9 out of 10. We won 12-2. I mean, simple as that. 12-2 during a 14 game span. But when we are not, I mean, when Harper is not in this lineup this season, we're 1-7. So that is the part that is alarming and concerning. And we're going to have to manufacture runs in ways we have not done before. That's kind of the reality.
Yeah, the concern to me is I see a lot of ones up there, especially after. I mean, look, even with those games, Harper was in the lineup, and I know he was hurt and went 0 for 8 in those 2 Toronto games. But this weekend, they just look lifeless on offense. Yeah. And look, I know Paul Skeens is really good, but the fact that you just can't get more than 6 total runs against the Pirates, that is a major concern.
I mean, yesterday, Haney, what was it? Berrios in Toronto. Was it Gaussman the one that pitched the last game?
No, it was Bassett.
Bassett.
Yeah, Chris Bassett.
It was Bassett. It was Chris Bassett. I mean, generating 1 runs in those 4 games is really scary. But look, baseball, the beauty of baseball is you wake up the next day and you got a new day. You just gotta find a way. I mean, you just have to find a way. And we'll talk more about the lineup and kind of those dynamics. Let me go back a couple of slides where kind of I show kind of where the team is by the numbers. So we're 37-28, 1-9 over the last 10 games, 10-10 over the last 20, 17-13 over the last 30. It was very unfortunate this week because we were at a point 17-11 away from home, and now we're kind of close to 500 at 18-16. So that is something concerning. We did not play the National League East this week. We're 9-9, but we're going to have the opportunity to play the National League East in 2 weeks for a stretch of it's going to be 7 games, 4 away and 4 away against the Marlins and 3 at home against the Mets. So that will be interesting how we prepare ourselves and be ready, and expect that we're not going to be without Harper. We're 14-17 against teams above 500 now. Toronto was about 500. The Pirates are far away from being a 500 team. And look, the concerning part, I mean, after having a tremendous May, we're 1-6 in June, 4-4. The other thing that was significantly diminished, we were 11-4 in one-run games. And a lot of those 2-1s against the Pittsburgh Pirates were now 11-8. And the concerning part here continues to be against left-handed. Haney completely dominated this lineup, but we faced a bunch of right-handed pitchers in Toronto, and we couldn't do much against them. So I think it's an overall issue that we need to address. And now our difference between how many runs we're scoring versus producing is down to 15. So, and more concerningly, is kind of where we are against the Mets. We are now 3.5 games behind the New York Mets after we.
I think it's 4.5 now.
Oh, 4.5. Yeah. This was before the game. So we're 4.5, and we were 2.5 above them 2 weeks ago. So it's a very concerning kind of dynamics. We talked a little bit about this. Look, it's kind of where the reality where we are. What's your? I mean, so we talked a little bit about the Harper injury. Let's talk a little bit about kind of Luzardo and what's your kind of point of view on Luzardo? I mean, it's puzzling. I mean, it is puzzling. This is a guy that 2 starts ago, his ERA was 2.15, and he's right now in the middle 4s. I mean, what happened here?
I mean, I personally think he's stiffing pitches. Simple as that.
Yeah. Look, the team is going to look carefully at it. I don't know. Go ahead, Lochlahn.
Yeah. So, I mean, after his start, he stood up there and answered our questions and was really good about it. And he said that he is the person looking for the answer the most. Like he already had started looking at film of his the at-bats against him before the game had even ended. Like he went back into the clubhouse and started looking at film. And my colleague, Scott Lauber, I'm going to plug today right now. He wrote an article today. Yeah, he is. Yeah. Where Luzardo thinks that they've found something. I don't think that the Phillies are obviously going to say exactly what, but I think they seem to have made some headway or have figured something out. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see his next start if anything is different. But it is so stark that I think that's really the only logical answer for like such a quick turnaround in numbers and like how other teams are attacking him and that sort of thing. So I think tipping, I don't think it's kind of seems like a cop-out answer, but I think in this case I think it might have some like legs.
Hopefully tipping. I saw a lot of issues around pitch location. I mean, he left a lot of pitches in the middle of the plate, particularly in his last start. And then they've hit him, I mean, really, really hard. I mean, it's like this is a guy that was completely lights out. I mean, during the first 11 starts, he allowed, 19 runs? On the last 2 starts, he allowed 20 earned runs. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I've never seen it, unless there's injury in the middle, which is not expected because it's throwing a 98. It's just absolutely puzzling. I mean, how we see things. So
I think it's possible also that like things start to spiral out of control. Like it happened so early in both of his starts that could affect his command. Like that can get in his head on the mound, and that's how you see those issues. So I think it's just kind of like a perfect storm of a lot of different things possibly happening to him.
Oscar, do you remember in spring training when Jesus started, I think, against like the Twins the Tigers, and they hit like 3 straight home runs against him?
Yep, I remember that Tupper was in the middle.
Oh, yeah, the interview.
It was in the middle of the interview, and the guy said like 1, 2, 3. What's going on here? Go ahead.
I just feel like sometimes Luzardo could be a little bit too in the zone, and I see a lot of people online already kind of not like doubting him, but kind of being really down on him. And I just think like if just go back to the last 11 starts, like he has the stuff, he has the mentality to be a really great pitcher, and this is just a rough stretch for him. So looking forward to reading Scott's story on what the Phillies have figured out. So I think Jesus Luzardo, like there's a lot of concerns to be had with this team. I think he is very low on the list, but it is a little bit shocking to see him get hit so hard in the last 2 starts. But I think in the end, it's going to be like a good like learning 2 weeks of learning, I guess, for him. It's a shame though, because like he was on the path to, not only being an all-star, but also like if he stayed healthy, competing for a Cy Young. And if you have 2 bad starts in a row like that, you kind of tanked your own season. But that's kind of just something that he has to get over and focus on finishing the season pretty strong.
I remember. He's a countryman, so I know. Of Luzardo, I have followed him since he was in Oakland, and I knew the talent that he had. He was coming up. He's had issues with the Marlins where he basically in one game he gives a lot of runs and then he basically fixes it. And look, my biggest concern with him in the beginning of the year was number of innings, and I saw him putting him for 105 pitches. For example, in the previous start prior to him getting hammered, it's like I was very, very worried about the number of innings or the number of pitches he was making, because we are going to have to protect his innings. He has one season only with 178 innings. The previous one to that one was 100, and everything before that. And he's dealing with a lot of back issues in the past. But look, this guy is a tremendous quality arm. We know it. He was the number one pitcher coming out of Oakland, the number one pitcher in MLB coming out of Oakland. We see the talent. We just have to make it right. And hopefully the whole issue with tipping pitches is what they found, and we can address that issue, and then maybe some location opportunities there. And then he starts pitching the way we know he's capable of pitching.
Oscar, I'm glad you pointed out he'd have the occasional bad start or two with Miami, because I remember when he was a prospect, that was a concern with him. I think in AA and AAA when he was with Oakland, that he looked great for like 5 or 6 starts, and then there'd be like a 1 or 2 start stretch where the guy didn't have command of the strike zone, didn't have control. He was getting hit a lot. Maybe he's just going through that stretch right now. But yeah, I definitely think it's the tip and pitches aspect, just from talking to people, like not even people in the Phillies organization, just talking to other pitchers. They go, he's doing something. Hitters just don't hit a guy like that, not with that talent.
Yeah, absolutely. You use the expression in English, a glitz. Is it a glitz, the one you use?
Glitch?
A glitch. That he just it happens once, and sorry, I tried.
Yeah.
Stitch had a glitch for all you Disney fans out there.
Well, let's go. Let's talk a little bit about hitting and kind of where hitting is right now. We're at 457 runs per inning, and one of the things that I like to do on this slide is I like to show kind of where we are. So you see there, 6 weeks ago we were 12 in baseball. So we've gone from 12 to 6, now up to 9. So it shows a lot of the inconsistency with our hitting. And look, we know everybody loves Kevin Long, and I like the guy. He's proven. What he did with the Yankees, what he did with Washington. But look, this team, and by the way, I looked at this stat. I don't have it in front of me right now, but I looked at the stat for chase. We've significantly improved our chase from last year. We were like 28. Now we're up to about 23. We still need to improve, but this team depends too much on their slugging to be able to score runs. But it's something to keep in mind. So we're 9th in hitting right now, 4.57 runs per game. We're 10th in OPS. We've remained we went from 11 to 6, now up to 10 again. We're back to 14th in home runs, and that is an area. Look, if this team depends too much on the home run, we need to be more in the top 10 to be effective as a team. You saw when we got down to top 10 how much we were hitting versus what we're hitting right now the last couple of weeks. And then strikeouts, we're 10th in baseball at 20.7%, and we're 8th in base on balls. So we've been getting base on balls, and I did an analysis that I'll show you in a few minutes that I found very interesting. And interesting enough, this is the lowest we've been in runners left in a scoring position. And you know why that is?
Because no one's getting in scoring position.
So we're down to 24. So I thought that was very, very interesting. So from a stat standpoint, anything that calls your attention here, Lochlahn or Destiny, anything that calls your attention or is in line with what you guys seen so far?
Like the fact that, this is like the full year, right?
Yeah.
Full year stats.
Well,
The fact that
this is
they're
by week. This was the previous week. The previous week before that, it's like that. So I like to show how it continues kind of to move along.
Okay,
the
yeah.
way.
It's the cumulative stats though, Destiny.
Yes.
Like everything that's in the colors. So
Yeah.
I don't know, but there's still like
it's
a
top 10. If it's between 10, 11 and 20, I put them in the yellow, and then I'll put them in red if it's in the bottom third.
yeah. I mean, if they're like top 10 in these stats and they look as bad as they do now, then I mean, it says a lot about how hard it is to hit in this league.
Yeah, and kind of where they're located. Let's move to the next area, which is pitching. So our starting pitching is at 322. 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago we were at 322, which we were fourth. Over the last 2 weeks, we've gone from 322 to 370 overall, from 4th to 17th. So, and then here what the numbers look like. And I normally don't keep it, but I kept the last couple of weeks. You see here. So we were 34 and 19th in record, overall record with 34 and 19. We're number one. Now we're sixth at 37 and 28 in Major League Baseball in total wins. But we see our ERA going from 12. We were even before that. We were. I was talking about the starting pitching when I was talking about our starting rotation when I looked at that. So we were fourth in the starting rotation, and now we're 13th. Overall, we've gone from 12th to 19th. So and 4th to 13th on our starting pitching ERA. We're 6th in home runs, 15th in base on balls, and number 1 in strikeouts. But we've gone overall from first strikeout. Now we're behind Houston at 613 in overall, and our starting pitching continues to be number 1 in strikeouts in all of baseball.
I don't know if the ERA is something really to be worried about, because I think we still have, our starters putting up quality starts across the board. I think the Luzardo starts have obviously probably skewed those stats.
The 20 earned runs are
that's going to put
it. That's going to put a dent there. And then this continues to be kind of the area that everybody is concerned about. The bullpen is definitely an area that Dombrowski is going to have to address as we get closer to the trading deadline. Any thoughts? Is there just one game that Taiwan pitched in relief this week? Yeah,
he pitched yesterday.
Pitched in Toronto. Yeah, he pitched yesterday. Yeah. He was okay. I didn't like the number of pitches, the amount of pitches he threw.
I feel like it's still like an adjustment for him to go to a completely different role. I think I was surprised that the velo wasn't as high as I would necessarily have expected. Like, it was normal for him, but I think Rob said that he kind of anticipated maybe to see it tick up if he was only going to go one inning. But I think it was a blowout at that point that he came in the game. So, it's a bit, the circumstances aren't perfect for like the adrenaline to be high and that sort of thing. So yeah, I don't know. I think holding off judgment on him so far because it's only been 2 appearances, but I think what we saw from him in Tampa, that first relief appearance, that kind of shows what he's capable of. So
I agree 100%. Mick Abel continues to show the part. I think the biggest question is going to be how long. And I guess it's until Nola returns, and that's when
when's
they're
that
going to have to make a decision. Huh?
Well, when's that going to happen? Because now he had the setback. So.
Yeah. Well, I heard two stories, right? The first one, or Tupper said 2 things. First, he said he had the issue on the side, and then he said that it might have been something with coughing.
Yeah.
You guys heard that?
Yeah, so he said first it was like stiffness or tightness in his right side, and then he shut him down for 2 of the days we were in Toronto. I'm not sure where he's at right now. I haven't checked or seen any updates, but he was sick. I think there was like a sickness going around the clubhouse, and the trainer thought that the coughing might have
created that. Around the ribs or something that.
Yeah, so it wasn't related to the ankle, but it was still something that they just wanted to they don't want it to affect anything else if he's trying to like exert himself with it.
Lochlahn, do you think he's going to need maybe 1 or 2 rehab starts? Did they give any updates on that?
He's definitely going to need at least one. Like I think he's I mean, they were trying to avoid it initially, but this is taking a lot longer than they thought it would.
It might be too.
Yeah,
I mean,
and the longer it goes on, like the more rehab starts he's going to need because he has to be stretched out to be a starter again. So that's kind of the danger of when like these starting pitchers go on the injured list, because if he's back within like 15 days, then you could kind of just like reinsert him, but then it reaches a point where you got to kind of start over again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know Reading's home this week. Well, they're home the next 2 weeks. I think Lehigh's home this week. I can't remember. It's Painter should be due for a home start coming up.
So here's where our hitting is overall for the season. We only have 3 players above the average, or 4 players above the average of MLB on OPS. I mean, I always look at it from an OPS standpoint, which are Schwarber, Harper, and Turner, and Castellanos. Those are the 4. Those are the money guys, by the way, from this team. So that makes it interesting that those are the only 4 guys where their OPS. But the part that is most concerning is what's happened this week. I mean, when you start looking at this week, only Turner, Castellanos, and Baum were above that threshold. Everybody else was significantly below. And to me, one of the ones that looks most alarming, I mean, Bryson Stott is in a major slump right now. And they keep hitting him lead off. And I know we'll talk about the lineup, the ideal lineup momentarily, but that is an area of concern. I mean, Kepler, look at where Kepler is as well. I mean, we need a lot more production, both from Kepler, 231 and 181 in OPS in a week. I mean, and I know it's only a week, but if you go back, and I'll show you some numbers both on a Stott and Kepler that are some concerning. I'll show them to you momentarily. Here's kind of where our pitching is, looking at it overall. So we got Mick Abel doing his magic. I mean, for the second, by the way, I was really, really impressed. I mean, it's okay that you did it once, right? And look, was it a glimpse or anything like that? We don't know, but look, and then he goes out in Toronto and he pitched the way he pitched. I mean, I was really, really impressed. I saw a lot of pitches in the middle of the plate, which scared me a little bit, but he has great velocity. And the way he commands that curve is nasty. I mean, that curveball is really, really.
His confidence is at an all-time high right now. I saw him. I think it was not his first start, his second start after Pittsburgh when he came up, and you could just tell he was firing on all cylinders. He was ready. He was ready to go. It didn't affect him. He said he had to get the adrenaline down a bit, but I think this could be a long-term thing, Oscar. And it's a shame because he might be their biggest trade chip right now.
Well, I mean, I think we know the 2 biggest trade chips potentially are Abel and Crawford. We both need them right now. That's the reality of things, because this offense needs to be sparked, and he's giving a shot in the arm to this team. The other thing is, I got to take my hat off to both Ranger and Christopher Sanchez. I mean, what a couple of starts they had yesterday and today. They are, I mean, it is unfair. I know Kerr lost the game yesterday and Ranger lost it yesterday. I mean, we should not, they don't deserve the fate of not winning those 2 games, because they pitch. I mean, Ranger is pitching at an unbelievable level. So that's a reality. The Red Sox just hit a home run to tie the game, by the way.
Yeah,
3-3 Yankees and Red Sox.
Kerr's been dealing too. I mean, it's a lot of these guys are pitching a lot better than what the results are showing, which is a shame, Oscar. It just comes back to this team just cannot hit right now.
Yeah,
It's a shame too is that they got back-to-back starts of 7 innings from Ranger and Christopher Sanchez, and couldn't win after those games.
Ranger has 5 starts. He's being.
And if you remember last year, like they pretty much went 5 months without losing one of those games, and then they lost a couple games at the end, and then what happened at the playoffs. So, and I think Sanchez, he pitched into the 8th inning, right, today?
He did. Yes.
I think that's the first time this season that a starting pitcher has thrown into the 8th inning this year. But Sanchez was really good. The changeup looked great. The fastball command, the walks weren't really an issue, except for the last batter. Like I understand, the idea of kind of keeping him in for O'Neal Cruz, because that left-on-left matchup is just a nightmare for the Pirates, but then you just can't throw 4 straight balls out of the zone.
Yeah, no, I agree 100% with you. So let's we have a visitor coming over. There you go. There is the man.
There he
The
is.
one and only John Foley.
What's going on, everybody?
Hey, John.
How's morale?
At an all-time high. No, just
Is that why everybody's wearing Eagle stuff tonight to make themselves feel better?
Yeah,
come
well,
on,
I
come
can't
on.
wear Phillies hat, so.
come on.
And I needed to wear a hat because I just woke up from a nap, so.
And Lochlahn just got back from Toronto, so.
And her hair looks perfect.
All right, come on. Yeah, just like mine, right?
Yeah, same here. My hair's perfect every day.
So, John, what was your take of the week, man?
Oh, just a nightmare. I mean,
Hey, come on, we have the 6th best record in baseball, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
It was the best record in baseball before this slump.
Yeah, I mean, it was good until it wasn't. Teams go through lulls. If you go back, I know we like to look at some of the historical teams. You'll find teams losing, 9 of 10, 9 of 11. But there's just right now, it feels so widespread across the team. It doesn't feel like there's something you can point to and say, this is the problem. Look at the starting pitching or even the bullpen.
Defense. I mean, the defense this week, my God, that plunge in left field yesterday or the fly ball. I mean, why? I mean, you guys tell me. You guys were there. Why didn't Kepler get the ball? That Turner, did he call the ball? I mean, he had it and then he didn't.
I was not there for that game, so I can't comment.
I asked about it actually, and Rob just said that Kepler had a long way to go, which I don't know. I think he pulled up a little bit, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah,
when he saw Turner getting in, I mean, he just needs to call it. That he's running straight to that ball. He needs to get that ball. It's very, very hard for Turner going behind his back. I mean,
that would have been an amazing play if Turner made it. But yeah, I agree with you, Locke. I think he pulled up. I don't know why. Kepler did not have a good week.
The funniest one was Weston Wilson diving after the ball hit the ground. And I guess I respect the effort, and I know he's not an outfielder.
He's not he's more of an infielder than an outfielder. I mean, I know he's giving it his best. Look, the reality is he's struggling, and we need better production. I mean, as simple as that. I love the guy. I love what he brings. I mean, I love the concept. But by the way, and I don't know this answer, and I probably should. Does he have options?
He's got one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, at least that's good news. That's good news that he has an option. I mean, I don't want to lose him because I do believe the guy has that right-hand bat. He has potential. I mean, the challenge with a lot of those guys like Wilson and Marchand, you cannot play them once a week and face Major League Baseball. They've never faced on a consistent basis Major League Baseball. I mean, they threw Marchand and they put it against Skeens and the guy hits a double. I mean, he closed the eyes and he just swing at the baseball.
Yeah, I really do think they need to just kind of send Weston Wilson down just to get his confidence back up. Get him every day at bats in AAA. There's at bats to be had there. I just feel bad for the guy at this point.
Who's your right-handed bat in left field?
Well, exactly. That's the problem. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Otto?
Maybe there's 2 left-hand bats in left field. We'll talk about that in a second.
Oh, then they should have kept Cody Clemens. Don't get me started.
Cody Clemens, yeah. But how many times? He had like 2 hits.
He had 6
at-bats and no hits with the Phillies and no role whatsoever.
Yeah, that's why I am on him. I'm like, okay, well, you have to get rid of him. And I love it now. He's getting a chance to play every day, and he's hitting.
And he's doing a great job. So. And we all like him. Let me show this as we go. Let's talk about the Phillies hitter production. So I was looking leadoff. So the first part, there's two slides or 2 parts to it. I should probably done it in 2 slides, but I was lazy. How about that? The first part is the one on the left. The one on the left talks about the batting order. So what you see here is, and then the one on the right is by position and how each position's hit. So basically, you see here that 6, 7, 8, and 9 are hitting below the OPS average. And then here's total bases, stolen bases by position. Total bases include home runs, doubles, everything, triples, base and balls. Stolen bases, and then you have the percentage of strikeouts, and then the percentage of base and balls. And one thing that you see here is, number one, the easy part, right? We know the bottom of the order is not hitting enough to produce enough runs. The second thing that I found interesting is that both our first and second hitter and our fifth hitter, their percentage of base on balls is significantly below or below major league average. So that calls my attention, particularly from a leadoff. When you look at some Stott as a leadoff hitter, he's not producing the way we need him to produce. I mean, his OPS at second base is below the average of MLB, and then he's not getting enough on base with base on balls. I know he doesn't strike out as much. I mean, we see him here at 16.6%, but the reality is that we need win more on base to be much more effective.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, Oscar. I think when you talked earlier about how you like the concept of Weston Wilson, I really like the concept of leadoff Bryson Stott, and I like how many pitches he sees per at bat. But at a certain point, you need to start getting on base, or you can't be the leadoff hitter. I mean, you can't really.
Do we just put Kyle Schwarber back there? And
yeah, that's probably what they're going to do.
Well, the problem is here's the problem, right? You put Kyle Schwarber, which is most of the time he's a number 3 hitter, right? And he's our best hitter. The DH up here is their best hitter. You put him up there, and then you're going to have even a bigger hole. You need to stretch that lineup, potentially moving up Turner from 2 to 3, and then start bringing everybody up. And look, the reality is this team needs more production from the bottom of the order. We need more. We need to get more on base at the top of the order, and then we need better production at the bottom of the order.
This team needs a center fielder.
Well, it's yeah, and ain't Mr. Roberts in Chicago, by the way.
Keep me as far away from him.
Yeah, no, I know. He's not producing. So, look, I was trying to get here to kind of the whole idea of how do we improve our lineup in general. So, basically, let me finish just one more point. There are only 2 hitters that are way above. Our second and third hitter are way above the average of MLB for OPS. We have a total of 3 hitters that are way above the OPS. We have 1 hitter that is basically at OPS level, which is Castellanos, and then everybody else is way below where they need to be. So, look, roster or lineup construction is not ideal. Any questions or observations when you see this?
My only observation is it doesn't really matter what order you put them in if nobody's here. You're just shuffling the chairs. That chair's on Titanic, right? I mean, put this together any way you like. When you're getting a couple hits a game, it's just not going to work.
The biggest problem is that their offense is so concentrated on Schwarber, Turner, and Harper, and now that Harper is not in the lineup probably for the next few weeks, it's going to be an even bigger issue. So they're going to need a couple guys, probably 3 guys to get going. I would assume that Stott is probably going to be further down in the lineup, potentially beginning this week. Brandon Marsh, like he was in a slump for about like a week and a half, but since the injury he has been a lot better, but they do need more from him. You talked about Nick Castellanos kind of being like average as far as OPS goes. Like, I mean, I think like, Castellanos hasn't been as bad as like Kepler and Stott and some of these other guys, but my take is that he's on $100 million contract and he needs to be more of like a pillar in the lineup and not just like one of those background characters. So they need more from him. Bohm's been a lot better, but you talked about like the walks being like really down in that part of the order. It's because there's a lot of Castellanos and Bohm and these aggressive hitters.
Bohm and Romuto, because they're contact hitters, they're very prone to double plays, like we saw how the game ended.
Yeah, Bohm was it 9 double plays this year? Or that's concerning. It's you know what? I want to ask both you, Destiny and Lochlahn, this, and John, you can chip in as well. How frustrated do you get when these guys swing at the first pitch after long at bats?
Pretty frustrated, especially if they don't make contact with it.
Yeah, I think it's more about like if you're swinging at a first pitch, you got to be like very selective on location. Yeah, I do feel like over the last few years, and I know like Rob talked about that as something that they addressed before, is that like you kind of have to not just like work at bats, but kind of realize like where your starting pitcher is. Like if they had a 25 pitch inning, then don't try to hit a home run the first pitch just because like your guy kind of needs a break. Stuff. It's just like kind of reading the game, and sometimes it feels like they're not all the way there all the time.
Or reading the opponent, right, Destiny? I mean, the pitcher
Yeah.
you have on the mound today, this is a guy that you want to.
Yeah, I mean, like Skeens is tough because like if you get a good pitch to hit, like you want to try to hit. It's kind of like facing DeGrom, I feel like, and you don't want to get down 2 strikes. But and then it's impossible not to chase because all of his pitches kind of look the same coming out of his hand. So like, you know, with Skeens today, like I kind of it's hard to say like I dismiss it just because the at bats have been so bad, but like he's just such a tough pitcher to face. But yeah, like it feels like there's times where they're really going well and they're kind of feeding off of each other and seeing pitches and I would say like reading the game. And then there's times where like they're just like trying to hit a 5-run home run.
And Lochlahn being around the group, does it feel like they're tense and pressing? Do you see, or is it just kind of business as usual?
I mean, I wasn't in Pittsburgh. I'm very interested to see what it's like when they come back from that, because I guess like you can't really get much lower than getting swept by the Pirates. I mean, in Toronto, the vibes were really high after the first game because, I mean, they won and Bryce was back. But, yeah, after that, I mean,
the quality of each at bat needs to be much better than a lot of times they just get desperate and they're just trying to do too much and they don't have the patience that is required. And the Stott, I mean, one thing that concerns me about Stott is he only swings at 8% of the first pitch. If you're a pitcher, I mean, Toronto threw him fastballs down the middle of the plate in each one of the at-bats. You're going to get an automatic strike. You have to, I mean, keep them guessing. Let's just put it that way.
I always hate to like be the skeptic when it comes to Stott because I know it's a controversial topic, but I mean, for the last 2 years, I've always felt 2023 notwithstanding here. I always felt the guy was a little overmatched, and I don't know if he just waits for that first pitch for a reason, or I don't know.
He's a patient hitter. He tries to work the count but when you look at the base on balls, they're not there right now. So they're not there right now. Give me 1 second. Let's cover some of the questions here. I think Nick welcome Nick Picone. The great Nick Picone is here. I call him my MVP, by the way. He's the one that created the Campanazo story here. Center field, left field. How much? This is Dave Dombrowski not knowing to spread Middleton dollars around and Middleton not wanting to overpay. Look, the reality is the Phillies are number 3 in payroll in baseball. I mean, so the money is there. I mean, they've been spending the money. The question is, how much money you're going to spend? I mean, there are things that you probably could have been. Look, when you're bringing major league hitters like, I mean, the Turners and the Castellanos and the Schwarbers and the Harpers of this world, you're not gonna hit 100%. Kepler has been okay, minus. I mean, he's not. He go up. Look at he's been basically okay
my thing is with center field. Who are you spending that money on this offseason in center field?
The outfield market, the last free agent market is absolutely terrible. Like if you look at like Michael Conforto, he was signed for 1 year, $17 million with the Dodgers, and his numbers are way worse than Kepler. Santander's been hurt. Teoscar's been really good, but they were never going to sign him. He was always going to go to the Dodgers. I think like the only guy like that was kind of comparable to Kepler that's been a lot better is Harrison Bader, who ironically signed with the Twins. So it's tough to say like what should they have done this offseason.
The Orioles signed O'Neill, which was the best.
That was terrible. Oh my God.
Terrible. He's always injured.
Remember, everybody was like overreacting because he had a home run like on opening day, and they're like, "Oh, the Phillies should have got him." I'm like, can we just like
he does it? Well, he hits a home run every opening day. That's
5 straight years, some crazy number like that. So, here's our dear friend Tyler from Phillies Tailgate. Brandon Doyle. Maybe the Rockies will sell low on him. I mean, if there is one thing that I've always heard from Tim Kelly is the Colorado Rockies never trade. So
They
Yes.
don't trade.
Yeah.
They don't trade. He's always
They don't do what
I
they
always
should
remember
do,
that. I always
ever.
remember that. So look, he definitely is. He's a great talent. He's a right-handed bat. He would be very, very interesting to have
Gold
here.
Glover
So,
too.
huh?
He's a Gold Glover too.
He's a Gold Glover too, and he's really good. So let me continue here. So there's a couple of slides here, which can you guys see the numbers here by any chance or no?
If I look very closely.
Come on. So look, March had an OPS. Stott had an OPS in March of 827. It went down to 807 in the whole month of April. Then in May,
Well, March was like 2 days long, so
yeah, no, I know. But went from 808 in April to 561 in May to 237 in June. So look, he's on a slump. I mean, let's just admit it, and let's try to help him out. So he's hitting his OPS against lefties. He's 502, and against righties 681. 681.
He's a platoon player in a slump.
He's a platoon player. So Edmundo is hitting 826 against lefties. You have to platoon him from now. I mean, and I know Topper has been trying to do that. So that's kind of the reality where we're facing in second base. Again, I'm trying to build the ideal lineup until the trading deadline, guys. Just bear with me here for a second. And I want you to react to it. And then Max Kepler.
Talk about rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic, right, John?
Well, then the other thing, look, you could go Kemp, you could go Kepler here. Kemp is not known as an ideal outfielder, so we're going to see a lot of the slides. So let me show you, and I know these are Justin Crawford's numbers in the minor leagues, but take a look at Kepler. Kepler 676 in April, 650 in May, 170 in June. That's another guy he hit 671. Not even at the OPS average of MLB, which is 720 throughout the entire season against righty, and he's 615 against lefty. And then you look at some of the numbers from Justin Crawford. He hit lefties and righties. Somebody that knows him really well gave me this, said, look, you got to see this guy hitting against lefties. So, look, and I know, if the Phillies plan to trade him, they're probably not going to bring him up. But if they're trying to look for a solution prior to the deadline, I would bring this guy up right now. And
he's not coming up now.
Okay.
It'll be maybe
Look,
in July.
I don't know if he's
but he
coming
ain't
up
coming
right now. I'm telling you what I just throw this out there for us to discuss. Okay. So the current lineup is what? Stott, Turner, Schwarber, Baum, Castellanos, Kepler, Realmuto, and March against right-handed pitching. Turner, Harper, Schwarber, Baum, Castellanos, Realmuto, Sosa, Wilson, and Rojas against left-handed pitching. How about if you bring Crawford, you can hit him lead off against righties.
No. I'm just gonna stop you. No, that's not happening.
Okay. Come on, Dusty.
No.
Speak the truth here. Come on. I agree with you.
I mean,
Look,
in spring training, like my thought was that if they brought up Crawford, it would be a big mistake, and I'm kind of not there yet. Like I still don't like. I think if you bring up Crawford with any expectation of him being any kind of a savior, that is a massive. He's a 21-year-old kid with and we talked about this. We went on
400 on base percentage.
Yeah,
it
would be a very tough spot.
It's really tough to evaluate his numbers. I know we're not watching the Iron Pigs every day, but there's a massive gap between the pitching he's facing in AAA versus the pitching he would be facing in the major league. So I think if you were to bring him up, and I think this was the idea of kind of having him play in AAA this year, was that he could fail a little bit and then make some adjustments. If you feel confident in the kid, maybe there's an injury to Kepler or Marsh, you bring him up, give him some playing time, and maybe a little bit of failure in the major leagues leads to changes. But I think anybody that expects Crawford, if they bring him up to really be any sort of a savior for this lineup, I think it's a massive, massive mistake to think of him that way.
What do you all think about this discussion around Crawford's ground ball percentage, where his ground ball percentage in the minors is apparently
it's
higher
62%.
Something insanely high, but he's also over
He's hitting
1,000 plus.
I mean, the guy
minor
hits
league
340
at-bats.
and
He's
400 on base percentage. What
Don't
else
look
do you
at the
want?
stats all the
Jordan.
time.
Huh?
I'm a stat guy. Don't look at the stats all the time. I'm saying this is a stat
Once
guy.
you have a sample size of 1,000
Look,
plus
if he
at-bats
hits
in the
three,
minors,
let me
I
put it this
mean,
way: if he hits 280, okay, which is significantly below where he's hitting right now, 270, and he gets a 350 on base percentage, it's better than what we're producing right now in center field.
The argument again with the ground ball percentage is that those balls hit on the ground in the majors would be outs, whereas against like lesser defenses, they might get through for hits. So that goes to what Destiny's saying about like the lower competition that he's facing right now. So I completely agree with her that it's one thing to bring him up, which I also don't. I'm not really like, I don't think that there's any sense in rushing him, but it's another thing to bring him up and then stick him at the top of the lineup and be like,
I get the top of the lineup. I mean, and the other option you have is what? Turner, Harper, Schwarber, Baum, Castellanos, the same thing, and you bring some of those guys in the bottom of the order, the Kemps and the and potentially the Crawfords if you bring them on the bottom of the
personally,
order.
if you're gonna bring Justin Crawford up, I would hit him ninth to start.
Okay,
He's
maybe you
again-
hit him ninth. Maybe you start him ninth the first week and see how he does, and then you start moving things around. I mean, look.
and if you're platooning him and he's only hitting against the right hand.
Well, I don't think if he comes up, he platoons. I think he hits again. He goes plays left field when a lefty comes up because of how he hits against lefty.
You got him at center against right-handed, and then in left field against left-handed pitching.
And then you bring because you have Rojas, which is an outstanding center fielder.
But I would like to get infielders out of the outfield. And it seems like the conversation is like, are we going to stick with Weston Wilson?
I think that's an improvement.
Out there with
Well,
7 games of
I mean, Jeff, you might have seen Kemp more than we have seen him. How is he in the outfield?
Terrible. Just like Weston Wilson. Like everybody's like playing him in left field. I'm like, what are you guys nuts? Like he's played like 10 games in his career, and he's not an outfielder. He's a third baseman. Like the only reason he's up here is because Bryce Harper is on the IL.
I mean, yeah. No, I don't know if I want to go the experiment of Oscar Mercado, which is hitting really well in the minors. So, yeah. And the other thing, and
honestly, like that might be a good idea.
Yeah, I like that idea. Honestly.
Oh, I mean, we brought him here. He didn't do
legend,
anything.
Oscar
Yeah, the other reality is that, I mean, the other reality, and I've been reminded here by one of my dear friends, is that he also Crawford is dealing with a quad dynamic right now.
Yeah,
so it might not be immediate.
Well,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
what got me
that
so
recklessly speculated that he was coming up.
oh my god, I was so furious Thursday night when I knew I was watching the game. He's literally stretching his quad. I'm talking to people in Lehigh about it, and like all of a sudden Twitter blows up. Oh, he's coming up. I'm like, no, he's not. And like people are like so mad because I tweeted the actual news. Like, oh no, it's probably a quad injury. There's a guy. Oh, by the way, there was a guy coming up. It wasn't Justin Crawford.
Okay, so now let me ask you. Let me throw you the question. Okay, this is what are we gonna do? I mean, what are we gonna do? Because this team, I mean, if we go back,
great. So what's the least bad option?
Is it Oscar Mercado?
That's what I ask you. I mean, without Harper, right? I mean, that's the other dynamic here is without Harper. I mean,
Some of these guys just got to start hitting. Nobody really wants to hear that.
I mean, this numbers do the talking. I mean, those are the numbers.
I mean, look, I agree with Destiny. Bryson Stott, got to hit. Alec
Yeah.
Button, got to hit. Like, it's a simple. JT, I know you're 34. You got to hit.
And there is so much that you can do. You can play. Well, you're going to put Turner first and Schwarber second. Is that it?
It wouldn't be bad.
And then Baum, Ramuto. I mean, Baum and not Ramuto.
I mean, we only use Schwarber at leadoff here. They only use Schwarber. I'm completely fine with Turner hitting leadoff against righties and lefties.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah. I think they're at a point. Like I know, I asked Rob about like his commitment level to Bryson Stott in the leadoff spot during the Toronto series, and his answer was that if the at bats continue to be long and good,
this
then
is what we're gonna get, right? This is what we're gonna get all the time.
Yeah. If the at bat quality is good, then he's fine with it. But I think it's at a point where he's pressing a lot, and there's I don't want to say like some sort of spark, because I do feel like when you're talking about lineup construction, when practically the entire lineup is struggling, you are rearranging chairs on the Titanic. So I don't know, but like I feel like
It ain't that
one of the
bad. Come
signature
on,
like
it ain't
Rob
that
lines
bad.
of the last
It ain't that bad.
is
It ain't
like
that bad.
when we have Schwarber leading off, we win, and I think that's kind of what they're leaning towards.
It
Do
works.
you think they'll put Schwarber lead off?
I think so.
Wow.
I don't mind Schwarber leadoff. I do not love the argument that, well, we've won a lot of games like that.
Yeah, it's kind of
It's one
It's
of
lazy,
those like
but-
stats. Yeah.
I mean, look at the record.
I mean, you put your best hitter up top. Got it. It's 9.
Yeah, I mean I think that's like the best argument for that. And I think the way that I personally see like lineup construction, it's kind of like snap counts in football. Like you're going to get your best hitters the most at bats, and I think sometimes people overthink it a little bit. Like Schwarber's our best hitter, who's our second best hitter, third best hitter, and then think of it that way.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of literature.
And then the red is gonna start going up. Right now we're at 5. We're gonna be at 6 with Harper.
Where do you put Alec Bohm in this lineup? Like, honest question.
Ideally, I think he should be like lower, but they need him to be more of a middle of the order guy. I think that's a big part of the problem is that they have like 2 and then 3 when Harper is healthy. They have these like 3 guys that should be in the middle of the lineup, and then they just have a concentration of 7, 8, 9 hitters, and some of them have to hit 4 or 5. So,
by the way, best game of the season for Alec Bohm was in Toronto. I mean, he went 4 for 5. He hit that ball to right field the way he's done it in the past. I mean, it was beautiful. Was it against Berrios or it was the first game?
I think that was the first game. I think it got a bit overshadowed because Harper came back. But yeah, I think
it was beautiful.
He had 4 hits. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, Houston, we have a problem, or Philly, we have a problem. We have a problem. There is
By the way, Lochlahn, Destiny, you guys are in Toronto. Like, when I was at the last home series, doesn't it feel like Alec Bohm's demeanor is a lot better?
No.
Maybe that was just me talking to him. One time I talked to him.
I'm like kind of like tired of like the Alec Bohm is like his demeanor is better stories, because I think it's all about like how is he hitting, and when he's not going well, like he's going to be down on himself, he's going to slam the bat, and then when he is like that guy, like he has that cocky confidence that everybody finds really charming. Like it's to the point where like he's not changing, like that's who he is. I think like over the years, like people have like hoped that he would be different, but I've been past that point.
I mean, what is he, like 30 now?
Like
he's
29.
Close. Yeah, he's closer to 30 than he is 25.
I don't know.
I mean, guys, there's nothing in Lehigh that we can, potentially bring up. I mean, looking at kind of the outfielder, not even Mercado. Mercado's at 792 OPS. I thought he was doing better. Buddy Kennedy, but he's
we gotta look who's
not
on
an
the 40
outfielder.
man,
It's the same old issue that we don't have an outfielder.
This team hasn't had a right-handed power hitting outfielder, I feel like, since Pat Burrell.
What's he up to nowadays?
Well, he's with the Giants, and they just swept the Braves, so.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, hitting coach. I don't know. I think that's why you're going to hear, whether we like it or not. I think you're going
They're sending messages here. Take a look at this. Oh my!
Oh man, this is going to be a long 7 weeks, guys. A long 7 weeks.
Yeah, no, it's going to be. They mentioned. Andrew McCutchen. This is more of the same. I'm not bringing Andrew McCutchen back.
How many DHs are they allowed to have?
Yeah. It's like it's incredible.
Their right fielder should be a DH, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Look, it's not an easy answer. That's the reality of things. That's the reality. I have one more thing here to show you, which is, or 2 more things before we close it. What time is it? It's 9:05. So we're gonna move, and it's the minor league player of the week. There's a couple of minor leaguers here. Thank you, Steve Porter, for all your help always, brother. Eduardo Tait in single A. This guy's the real deal. 381, 4 doubles, 1 home run, 5 RBIs over the last 6 games. I mean, 480 on base percentage, 1.194 OPS. I mean, he's amazing. 49 games. I mean, the guy has 9 home runs. He has a rocket for an arm, continues to learn a lot. And this guy, he's 18 years old, guys. 18 years old.
He hasn't turned 19 until August.
Yep. He doesn't turn 19 until August. And, I mean, he's the real deal.
By the way, the pitcher
continue to develop. Do we think the organization looks at Tait as catcher of the future, or do they think maybe he's so far away, given the age of this core, that he might be trade bait?
Who, Eduardo Tait?
I wouldn't trade him.
No way.
He's in the painter. He's in the painter territory.
In painter territory.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade him.
Honorable mentions this week from a hitter standpoint: third baseman Carlson DeMartini in Jersey Shore. He went 7 for 20 with 2 doubles and a home run. And then the pitcher of the week is Tommy McCollum. He's 26, which I found it very surprising. But this guy is, I mean, he's adjusted the way he pitched. He's throwing slower. I think Christopher Sanchez learned something about throwing slower and becoming a much more effective pitcher. You see his numbers there: 4 games over the last 2 weeks, 4 ERA, 7 innings. He allowed 1 hit. And I know we're talking Double-A, guys, but look, those are some impressive numbers. And take a look.
I'm going to say this about Tommy McCollum. He is the only pitcher in the Reading Fighting Phil's bullpen that knows how to get it out. I'm dead serious about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's
9 games, 5 hits, 14 innings, 5 hits, no base on balls. That's what impresses me the most, and 11 strikeouts. So we might have somebody moving up the ladder quickly here if we need some bullpen help there. Again, he's in Double-A. Honorable mentions to Will Crawl, 2 appearances, 8 scoreless innings, and then Brad Pacheco from the Florida League, 7 scoreless innings, 1 hit, 8 Ks. So in a complete game. So very, very impressive. Thank you, Steve, as always, for your help with that. Any other thoughts in the minor leagues before we move to next week? What we're gonna happen next week?
At least somebody's having success in the sport of baseball in the Phillies organization.
Oh my God, Destiny! Come on.
I'm sorry, I don't have anything intelligent to add to this.
No, Dusty's right. Like, I'm telling you guys, if you guys ever come to Reading and watch your bullpen, it is beyond atrocious. It's so frustrating.
It does feel like if this season happens to go off the rails, and I'm not giving up on it yet, but if it does happen to go off the rails, the future is not so bad. There's talent there.
Absolutely. And that's why it's going to be very interesting what Dave Dombrowski does during the trading deadline. He has not pushed too hard in terms of giving away other than probably Ohapi, that he gave away. He has not given away a lot of the top talent that this team has.
He did trade Caba for Luzardo, but I think we all agree that was a pretty good deal.
Caba is a long way to go.
Yeah, exactly.
We know he's a tremendous talent at shortstop, but he's a long way to go. But that's a fair point. Fair point, Jeff. So here's what we have next. So we have the Cubbies, which can hit like no other. So they can score runs. So we're gonna go Wheeler, Luzardo, and I guess it's Mick Abel pitching on Wednesday. That would be my guess. Any insights
Mick
on that,
Abel
guys?
versus Ben Brown. It's a cool matchup.
Oh yeah, that's a throwback.
Yeah.
They were in the same rotation at one point.
Look at that. That's interesting. And then Boyd against Wheeler, and then Luzardo against Rea. These guys are good, right? Number 1 in hitting in terms of runs scored per game, and they're 11th in ERA in baseball. Toronto, we have the Toronto Blue Jays coming back, 427, 15th in runs scored and 401 in ERA. And then Miami, if we don't sweep that Miami series, those 4 games in Miami, I mean, I don't know what we're gonna do.
The Fighting Gate Grapplers.
Lochlahn, are you going there?
I am going. Yeah.
She wants to go there to Little Havana. Go eat in Versailles. What is it called? A Cuban sandwich on our behalf.
Okay, I will.
Lachlan, are you like are you the road reporter this year? Because I haven't seen you at too many home games this year.
I still go to home games. I do like most of the travel, but Scott and I split it up. But like if it's a West Coast trip, I do the whole thing. But like I did Toronto, he did Pittsburgh. But I do come to home.
Are you doing San Francisco and San Diego?
Yes, I'm really excited for that.
Yes, yeah, I would look forward to that. That's the fun part of going on the road.
Yeah,
That's beautiful. It's my favorite part. I normally go to Miami, but I gotta work, so I cannot make it to Miami. So I cannot go.
Are you doing LA and Arizona? I know that's like months away, but
I don't know if
I'm doing that.
I don't know if we've decided that one yet.
Okay,
but yeah.
And then the almighty Mets are coming. I mean, we're ready for payback, guys. I mean, we gotta sweep those 3 games and gotta get back into the thick of things. We cannot just give this away. That's number 10 in hitting, and number 1 still in ERA pitching.
That's a big weekend for me because after that weekend, I kind of get to relax for about 5 weeks before football season starts.
Yeah, so kind of that's what the week is.
I find it interesting that after the Mets series in April, they were down 5 games in the division, and it felt like something really needed to change and that the season was going a bit off the rails. And then they went to Chicago and they took 2 out of 3 against a really good Cubs team, and now they find themselves in the same situation only a few weeks later. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the Chicago series goes. If there's like one player that they could take from another team that would solve a lot of issues, it's probably Pete Crow Armstrong. So it'll be exciting to see.
Stud.
See him
second
here.
in OPS in baseball right now behind Judge.
And his mom is in the old big league.
It's incredible.
Can't believe the Mets traded him away.
I can.
It's incredible. Look, I think when
Destiny, I know you know the answer, but do you remember who the Mets traded him for?
Javi.
Yep.
Javi Baez.
Yep.
Hey,
I'll tell you what, you look at the schedule and it's pretty daunting, and we've talked a lot about the weaknesses of the team. But the one thing that gives me hope is thinking about the starting pitching.
Pitching. That's what
right now. If we got Wheeler, Luzardo, Mick Abel,
Suarez, Sanchez.
I mean, so if they're not able to fix their weaknesses, maybe their strength can get even a little stronger. Maybe we'll see one of those 8-inning Wheeler outings where he looks really special. I mean, Luzardo just has to get back on track.
The other thing is Topper might have to go and manufacture runs the way he has not done before. Bunting, stealing more bases.
So Rob has to get into the box and bunt.
Yeah. This team doesn't know how to bunt. Like Johan Rojas does not know how to bunt, and I actually think he's a half decent bunter, and he can't bunt.
Look, I don't care how we score runs. I mean, we got to manufacture runs because without Harper, I mean, look, we're not going to have the slugging that we need. I mean, that's kind of the reality thing, and hopefully we can have Castellanos' son coming to the game and getting some.
I haven't seen Liam in a few weeks.
Liam, we need some home cooking here.
School's out now in Florida.
Yeah, it is. I saw him a couple weeks ago. I thought I saw him a couple weeks ago that he was coming. His grandma had him on flying on the plane and saying they were going to Philly. So hopefully they're here and we can get some nice home cooking. If not, I'll cook rice and beans for those guys so they can start doing something.
The fan base's hopes and dreams rest on the shoulders of Liam Castellanos.
Well, you guys see someone tweet at McCarthy today that they haven't won a game McCarthy has broadcasted in like a week and a half?
I saw that, yeah, because he missed the one win.
Yeah, he missed the 6-run first inning.
Hey guys, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for all the comments, guys. Always a pleasure to have here. And have you here. Lochlahn, what can we follow you in social media and all your wonderful work?
My handle is just my name, Lochlehn. So yeah, follow me on Twitter.
She's the best.
Sorry.
Thank you, Lochlahn.
Subscribe
Thank
to
you
the
so much for joining
Inquirer
us.
for Lochlahn Scott. That's what I tell people.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for your work, and we truly appreciate you coming here at Phillies Weekly. Destiny, where can we follow you on social media?
On X, Destiny _Lugardo. Destiny Lugardo on Blue Sky, and then you don't even have to read my articles on Phillies Nation. You just got to click them and then watch the video because that's how I get paid.
Come on.
So.
Go Phillies Nation.
You guys aren't in the whole like engagement time thing, because that's what we do at CBS. It could be direct as long as you're on there for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly how it works, but the videos are what gets me paid, so that's what really matters.
I want everyone here to know that I click on all of your stuff all the time.
Thank you.
And John Foley, the one and only.
And watch those videos.
Yeah, gotta watch videos.
Yeah.
John is here every week, or almost every week. John, it's always a pleasure to have you here. Where can we follow you in social media?
You can find me at 2008 Phils with a Z. That works for Twitter, and that works for Blue Sky. Blue Sky continues to grow. I hope to see more people over there.
I wonder why the 2008. I know the 2008, but the Phils with the Z at the end. The S was not available, or what?
The S was not available. Somebody took it. And
John, I remember you started doing this. This is back in 11 or 12. I think you were tweeting every day about the game.
2015, I think was the first.
I thought it was
first
before
live
that
tweeting of the 2008 season. Yeah, because 2015 was sort of rock bottom, and there was no reason to pay attention to the team. So that's another point.
I mean, when Sean O'Sullivan's pitching every fifth day, yeah, there is no reason to pay attention.
Hey guys, Jeff, thank you as always. Jeff Kerr at CBS, the best. Thank you guys. So much. We'll see you tomorrow at Citizens Bank Park, and we're going to have a big smile from Destiny, guaranteed. Come on,
I'm not going to be there tomorrow. So.
Yeah, I'm not going to be there tomorrow.
Oh, my God. Well,
nobody's going anymore now. Is that what's happening?
What am I going to add? What am I going to add?
It's going to be a big circus tomorrow. I don't like going when the circuses are.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, it feels like that every day at this point.
Hey, Lochlahn, we'll smile for them. Thank you so much, guys. You guys are the best. Have a wonderful Sunday night, and God bless. Take it easy, guys. Thank you.
Hey, take care.
See ya.
Hey, guys. Thanks.
Bye.
Lanzamiento, aquí viene un batazo de Mundito entre right center field, la bola pica, se extiende, viene anotando Stott, empata el juego, también manda para la bola Turner anota y los Phillies se van arriba. Se prepara, Mundito en segunda, el lanzamiento, batazo profundo para el center field, la bola se va, Schwarber Bomb, ¡campanazo! Aquí viene el lanzamiento, swing y lo ponchó. Ponche de Alvarado.